All right. Are you ready?
Yeah. Are you ready? Like Zoe 101?
You've gotten that into my head now. Like every time I say, "Are you ready?" like that, I think of Zoe 101.
I've spread it to everybody.
I'm like, ooh.
Are you ready? Ooh.
Please like this. Please like this. Please like this.
Hi. Welcome to Please Like This. I'm Valentina.
And I'm Mark.
And today we're talking about Bram Stoker's Dracula, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, a movie that is a little too hot about vampires. Is that good?
I love that that's the choice you made.
It's a choice I made and I'm sticking to it. Okay.
That's fine with me. If you're cool with it, I'm cool with it.
I don't know. I kind of blanked and then said something.
Do you want to try again? It's up to you. I
like it. I like it.
Okay. Well, Valentina, you picked this movie. I did not pick this movie. I'd like that to be clear at the beginning. So why do you like this movie? What do you like about this movie? Why this movie?
Oh goodness. Okay. So I said this before, but I was really worried about showing you this movie. I genuinely was worried that like you would completely ghost me and never be my friend again. Not actually. I just thought like you would be upset with me for a little bit.
I'm not upset with you. I will say that I did multiple times right. Valentina, what is this? Valentina, if I lose sleep because of this, I'm just looking for your name because I multiple times just wrote like, Valentina, why did you do this to me? Valentina, are you a freak?
And that's kind of like what I was expecting.
Valentina, I don't like this creepy tension. Continue. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I love this creepy tension. So, this is kind of an anomaly in our show, or going to be an anomaly, where I did not watch this growing up. I had no relationship with this movie until 8 months ago. I watched this movie because the Alamo Drafthouse was doing a screening of it, and I was like, this would be a cool thing. And then my coworker, who goes to the Drafthouse regularly and watches like the horror movies that they present, because one of the theaters has like a Terror Tuesday, so they show like different old horror movies on Tuesdays, and he goes regularly to those. And so I was like, hey, would you want to go see Bram Stoker's Dracula with me? Like, neither of us had never seen it before. The way that I described it to him, I think like on the way into the theater, was pretty much what I know about it is that it's like a sexy version of Dracula, and a lot of people make fun of Keanu Reeves' accent in it. That was the extent of my knowledge. I like found out that it was directed by Coppola that day.
Oh, okay.
Like,
you didn't go in knowing that.
No, I when I tell you I knew nothing about this movie, I knew nothing about this movie. The only thing I knew about this movie was like Keanu Reeves has a bad accent in it. Pretty much the only thing. Which is true, yes. And then I saw the movie. There were multiple scenes that were very awkward to be sitting next to my coworker of just a few months.
I imagine.
Yeah, there was no way to prepare ourselves without spoiling it. So then after the movie, I looked to him and I'm like, with this huge grin on my face, like, I have just seen a masterpiece of cinema. I look to him and I'm like, what did you think? And he's like, a little confused. He was like, it was fine. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. Whatever. And I was like, this is amazing.
And I would like to ask once again, why? What spoke to you about this movie?
I don't really know. I don't like vampires. I'm not really like a person that's into fantasy. I'm not like into horror movies. I'm not like into body horror at all. Like, I usually actively avoid it. And this movie just spoke to me, and I don't know why.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll figure it out in this episode.
Yeah, I was surprised by how much I liked this movie.
Yeah.
I think I was texting you all like, you need to see this movie. I just watched the best movie
You talked about it for like
ever.
a month, and yeah.
Yeah, and then I pretty much got the hint that other people were never seeing it until I forced them to.
Until
for
you
a
forced me to
podcast.
watch this, yeah.
So yeah, Mark, what was your experience with this movie?
Well, I just like to say up front that I don't like horror movies. I can't handle them. I'm not good. I don't. They're not my thing. I saw Terminator 2 at a sleepover, and that's not even a horror movie, and I was like freaked out.
Oh goodness.
I'm bad at it. And so I hate like the tension. I hate jump scares. I hate them. And so going into this, I was like, let's Mamma Mia, here we go again. I
Complete
just
opposite of that.
yeah.
That's the type of thing that I usually like.
Yeah. It was nothing like Mamma Mia, here we go again. But I just strapped myself in and I was like, you're gonna watch it. You are gonna leave the lights on the whole time, and I'm giving myself permission to turn down the music and the sound if it will help me. And I still don't understand why you love this movie. My opinion on it is I think it's visually stunning. It's interesting. I just like I didn't vibe with it really.
Okay.
Like you said you finished watching it and you had like the biggest grin on your face because you just saw something you loved.
Yeah.
I don't know if I smiled during this movie.
There were points where the first time that I watched it, and I've seen it a couple times since then, where I was like actively smiling and like that thing that I do where I'm like leaning forward.
Yeah, like you're in love. Like
yeah, like I'm in love and
it.
like my face in my hands, just with the biggest smile, eyes wide open, like almost on the verge of tears, like in love with this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's maybe one point in this movie I smiled, and it's like But my opinion of this movie is like it's visually stunning. It is genuinely like a beautiful, beautiful movie. The acting is for the most part very good, except for one glaring exception, Keanu Reeves. And
yeah,
I didn't dislike this movie. I think I had I recognized it's a good film. It's a good film. I just don't care about it at all.
I understand that.
Yeah.
And
so now we can start talking about it spoilery. So spoiler alert. If you if you want to watch this movie
for the rest of this episode.
If you want to watch this movie, pause it, go watch this movie, and then come back because it
is truly an experience.
It is. Yeah, don't look anything up about this movie.
I very highly recommend going in without knowing anything or knowing like as little as possible.
Yeah.
I definitely think that adds the experience. I think it's just, like you said, it is visually stunning, and I am just like so, every second of this movie, like every frame of this movie, I'm just like so captivated by what is on screen and like how they are doing
something's
that.
happening. Something's always happening.
Yes.
And the effects hold up from the age because they're like real physical effects that they're doing. They're not doing like a bunch of like weird 90s CGI that looks terrible now. They're doing like real effects.
Yes.
They're doing a great job with it.
And we will definitely talk about the effects later on. Yeah. But it's just this movie just surprised me so much. Yeah. I was just so pleasantly surprised when I watched this. I know you were maybe not so pleasantly surprised.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
I don't know about pleasantly. I was confused.
So was my coworker.
I timestamped multiple times. I think I timestamped hour 15. Oh, we're finally getting an info dump. Good to know.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Okay, that's another thing. This is a very dense movie.
Yeah.
A lot happens, and it's like mixed with historical events and like mythology and like a bunch of different stuff.
And heavy. This is a adaptation of a book that's like an adaptation of a book. Like stuff that usually gets cut out of other Dracula adaptations is in this.
Well, Also, a lot of stuff was added in that was not in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so pretty much it starts in 1462.
When Columbus
This
sailed the
guy-
ocean blue.
No, about 30 years before. But this guy, Vlad, he is
Vlad the Impaler.
Dracula. Yeah, Vlad the Impaler. Later becomes Dracula. He like is in battle in this war with the Turks, and he goes to battle, and he leaves his beautiful bride Elizabeth Winona Ryder.
Yeah, Winona Ryder.
He leaves his bride Winona Ryder,
Yeah.
who he's very deeply in love with, and goes off to battle. She, like, the enemy falsely sends word that Dracula has died, and so she kills herself because she, like, can't live without him.
She jumps off a castle that is so tall that it has clouds beneath it.
Yeah.
And that's not a complaint. I loved that.
Okay, cool.
I thought that was funny. And
so
her dead body, completely fine. She jumped off a castle into a river, drowned to her death. Her body just has one trickle of blood out of the corner of her mouth.
Yes.
Continue.
So that's the thing, that like Vlad comes back from battle and finds Elizabeth's body dead. Elizabeth's dead body.
A corpse.
And the priest says, like, she killed herself, she committed suicide, she cannot go to heaven, like, so we can't give her a Christian burial. And that drives Vlad crazy. He's like, I've been supporting the church my whole life, I've been a huge defender of the church, and how dare the church betray me and, like, go against me like this. And so he, like,
denounces God.
Yeah, he denounces God and, like, puts his knife through the cross
at the altar,
and, like, at the altar, and, like, the cross starts dripping blood, and
he drinks it.
That gives him immortal life, and he becomes Count Dracula. 400 years later, we're in 1897, England, and Keanu Reeves has a bad English accent.
But he's really hot.
Yeah, this was kind of like peak young Keanu.
His skin is like,
yeah,
he looks luminescent.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves is sent to Transylvania to, like, work with this guy Count Dracula,
who's buying property in London.
Yes,
it's selling Sunset, but for 1897.
I don't know. It's selling, like, Eternal Sunset.
Yeah. I like that a lot, actually.
That was good.
That was actually pretty good. I like that a lot.
Really? Okay. Whatever.
I don't know. That was satisfying for my brain. I don't know. There's nothing to do with it, but keep going.
So Keanu Reeves is sent to Transylvania. He is engaged to Winona Ryder, Mina.
Who we essentially find out is the reincarnation of Dracula's wife, who killed herself in the 1400s.
Yeah. And so Winona Ryder plays both Elisabetta in the beginning and Mina through the rest of the movie. And so when Keanu Reeves is sent to Transylvania, Dracula sees a picture of Keanu Reeves' fiancée, Mina, and is like, oh, now I, like, have found my bride. I've been, like, living 400 years trying to avenge her death, and now I found it. Like, I found this opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he's trying to get Keanu Reeves to be tempted and become immortal.
Is that what he's trying to do?
Yeah.
I thought he was, like, trying to steal Keanu Reeves' youth so that he could appear young for the bride. For Mina.
No.
My thing made more sense.
He can just do that.
What?
He can just do that.
My thing made more sense.
He just has that power.
But then why did he just keep Keanu Reeves alive?
Because Keanu Reeves, I think he doesn't want to kill Keanu Reeves. He wants to turn him immortal and like curse him.
But he didn't. That guy was like
But he's
trapped.
trying to.
No, he's not.
That's what he's doing. Like he's doing with the brides.
No, they could have just done that.
Okay.
Keanu Reeves was trapped with the 3 witches from that Scooby-Doo Halloween movie.
The Hex Girls?
The Hex Girls. He is trapped with the sex cult Hex Girls for months, and
It's like a month.
Like a month, and that is plenty of time to force Keanu Reeves into being a vampire, but he doesn't. He's kept alive as like some like feeding sack.
Well, I don't know. I think he's trying to do the same thing that he did to Renfield, who was his precursor and is now insane and in the insane asylum.
Okay. I see that.
That's why we had that to show
Okay.
like this is what Jonathan Harker could become.
Oh, okay. I still think that him stealing his youth is a simpler idea, but I understand what you're saying.
Yes, I agree, but that's not the story.
Okay, fine.
I think it is just to like Dracula was going to try to tempt Jonathan Harker with immortality before he knew of Winona Ryder, but then once he finds out about Winona Ryder, he's like, oh, I need to trap him here so that I can go find my bride and like be with her again.
Mhm.
And he's not going to get in the way. So it's like dual purpose, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. I've seen this movie 3 times. There are still like a couple plot details that I don't fully understand.
You're not watching this movie for the
important.
You're not watching this movie for the plot.
Not really.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then
well, that's
Dracula,
happening.
Yeah, while Dracula has Jonathan Harker trapped, he goes to England and like meets Mina and like tries to get her to fall in love with him. And while that's happening, Mina's friend Lucy is being courted by these 3 guys, Quincy, Jack, and Arthur.
Sure.
Quincy's the Texan, Jack is the doctor of the insane asylum.
Yeah.
And Arthur is Cary Elwes.
Yeah. Doc Texan.
Cary Elwes.
Yeah.
One of my like probably first childhood crushes.
I mean, Princess Bride, baby.
Yeah, like that. One of my favorite movies. Lucy's being courted by these 3 guys. Ultimately, she picks Arthur to wed, or like
Cary
maybe
Elwes.
he's the first. Yeah, Cary Elwes, or like maybe he's the first to propose or whatever. But she's gonna get married to him, and maybe that night she is in bed. Dracula appears kind of as like a wolf-ish creature, tempts her to leave her bedroom, and in this massive garden in her backyard, he like has his way with her, kind of.
Yeah, but
she's
it
like
seems willing.
Yeah, that's the thing, that she's like under a spell, but she's very into it.
Yeah.
So she like kind of is seduced by him, and he
as a werewolf.
And yeah,
and the werewolf bites her and turns her into a vampire.
Yes.
Slowly.
Yeah. And so the next few days are all these 3 guys that were former suitors of her and her fiance, trying to like bring her back to be healthy and everything.
Yeah, it's like a long-term, the way vampirism works with her is it's like a long-term illness that's like slowly taking over her blood. And so the 3 suitors call in Dr. Van Helsing, who is the doctor suitor's like mentor, who like deals in unusual illnesses, and they call him in, and he's like, it's vampires.
So he like immediately knows what's going on. They try to help her. It doesn't work. She dies.
And becomes and they have a funeral. She's buried in her wedding dress, which is the creepiest thing ever. The wedding dress, it looks like a lace version of the dinosaur from Jurassic Park. That,
yeah.
Like the fins come out around the neck.
Yeah.
She has finally fully become a vampire, and Van Helsing convinces the three suitors to go with him to like make sure that she's actually dead and not a vampire. They open the casket. Lucy is gone, and they're like, "What did you do? What did you do?" And while they're yelling, Lucy comes
in,
back,
like trying to feed on this child
with like in her creepy wedding dress with the palest, scariest face imaginable. And the suitors and Van Helsing kill Lucy
by like driving a stake through her heart and cutting off her head, which is, as Van Helsing knows, the only way to truly kill a vampire.
Yes.
So then, well, right before Lucy died, Mina had gotten word from Jonathan Harker that he escaped Dracula's house and found this convent, and they like were nursing him back to health.
And Mina's like, "Oh no, but I've fallen in love with
yeah.
I mean, honestly, I referred to this incarnation of Dracula, the young-looking one, as Johnny Depp.
Oh, okay.
Because he just looked like Johnny. I thought he was. I thought he was Johnny Depp at first, but like way older Johnny
Gary
Depp.
Oldman.
I know now. Once again, I even know like an hour 15 minutes in, it's like, wait, Gary Oldman was every incarnation of Dracula? It took me forever to realize. Because when Dracula first, yes.
Oh wow!
When Dracula appeared as Dracula for the first time, and he's dressed like the gay evil Pope,
and like blue sunglasses.
Yes, and like blue. I was like
John Lennon sunglasses.
Huge. I was like, who is this actor? And he's so gay, and then. And then he appears as a werewolf, and then there's Vlad the Impaler. He appears as like a man bat later on, and it wasn't until like the second time I saw him as like young like Dracula that he's using to seduce Mina that I was like, that's Gary Oldman. Wait, has Gary Oldman been in this movie the whole time? Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm smart.
I'm not saying the opposite of that.
I'm saying I have opinions.
Okay, there you go. Yes.
Dracula has been seducing Mina during Lucy's dying and becoming a vampire and all that.
Like turn.
Yeah. And once Mina finds out that John Harker is still alive, she does go to him, but she does not want to be with him because now she has been...
Because she's fallen in love with young Dracula.
Yeah, young Dracula. But she does go out to the convent and
marries Jonathan Harker.
Yeah, in the creepiest wedding I've ever seen.
Which, during the press tour for Destination Wedding about 2-3 years ago, both of them said that they thought that they were actually married in that ceremony.
Because they got a real priest.
Yeah, because they had a real priest. Like, both of them thought, like, maybe they'd actually been married.
Which, can you imagine Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder's child?
No.
Like, if they had gotten married and had a child, that child would have only been, like, a couple years older than us.
Oh, my God.
And would have maybe been, like...
Don't, like, make me think about this.
Okay, sorry.
No,
If they had combined genes, it would have just been the prettiest adult. It would have been the prettiest human being on the planet.
Like both of them are like kind of ultimate crushes for me. So their child would be like,
or would be ugly.
Oh God,
or would get the exact wrong features.
They're not.
Yeah. Anyway,
but well. After they get married, they return to England. They hear everything that's happened with Lucy. Van Helsing is told about all of the stuff with Dracula that Jonathan Harker encountered in like Transylvania. And Van Helsing's like, okay, we've got to find this guy and kill him, like, finally.
Because he's outside of his home territory, so he's actually weak.
Yeah. So they go to burn all the boxes that he has in Carfax Abbey, which is like this property that he bought across from the insane asylum. And they go to burn all those boxes so that he no longer has like a refuge in England. So he's like going to be, his powers will be drained in England.
But while they're destroying all that stuff, Dracula goes to Mina.
Yeah. Mina's like holed up in the attic apartment of the insane asylum that belongs to Jack, like Dr. Jack. And he's like, oh, don't worry, you'll be completely safe here. Which, whenever that happens in a movie, expects the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And so Dracula finds her, seduces her again, but like also she is very willingly into it.
Yeah.
He tries to turn her.
And she goes along with it.
She goes along with it at first, and then he's like, in the middle of it is like, no, wait, I love you too much. Like, I can't condemn you to this life, to this undead life. And she's like, no, I want this. I'm telling you repeatedly, I want this. I love you. I want this. Just so there's no confusion. And so they go through with it. She kind of turns. That's when all of the guys like bust in and find him there with Mina, Dracula with Mina. Yeah. And she is worried, but also like, I've made my choice.
She's turning. They all attack Dracula and chase him off, but it's already starting. So then it becomes a race of Dracula trying to get back into his home territory so that he can recover. And the suitors and Jonathan Harker and Van Helsing trying to beat him to it and cut him off so that they can kill him for good.
Yeah. And they take Mina along with them and send
as like a tracking system.
Yeah, and they send Mina with Van Helsing, so like maybe he'll be tricked and go to there while the suitors all make it to the castle.
Yeah.
Before Dracula.
Doesn't work. No, instead the Hex Girls show up and Van Helsing beheads them.
Yeah, show up at where Van Helsing and Mina are hiding out.
Mm-hmm. And and get Mina to like try and seduce Van Helsing, and Van Helsing realizes what's happening. He like forms like a holy circle and kills the Hex Girls.
Mm-hmm. Dracula gets there, and right after Dracula gets there, all of the rest of the guys get there, and this like huge battle ensues, and finally Jonathan is able to like what does he do? He slits his throat.
Gets like partially stabbed in the stump and like close to the heart, and like partially like neck cut off, and he's already been weakened from being cut off from his homeland. And then Mina grabs a gun and puts everybody off and says, would you cut my own head off? Would you do this to me? And then everyone backs off. And it's
because at that point, Jonathan Harker is like, oh no, she's doing this of her own volition. Like, let her go. Like, there's no saving her at this point.
Yeah.
And so Mina
Is that what that was? There's a lot up for debate, and we'll debate it later. But
okay, fine. I very much have thoughts on what happens there.
Okay.
And then so Mina takes Dracula inside the castle to the
chapel where the whole movie started.
Yeah,
where he became a vampire.
Died, and so they're like in reverse positions where his body is lying there and she's trying to save him. He says, give me peace. And so Mina finishes putting the knife through him
and cuts off his head, and then takes his red scrunchie and puts it on to show a transfer of power. And then she asks Martha to go watch movies with her or whatever.
I was not expecting that at all, Mark, and thank you very much.
That Heather's connection?
Yes. No, I love it.
It was the first thing I thought of when it was like, it's Winona Ryder is in a movie where red symbolizes power and sexuality, and then
Mhm.
um at the end she falls in love with like a like villain and at the end kills him.
Yeah. A villain who's kind of trying to use her as a power of evil
Yep.
and to kill other people.
Yep. So it's a broad strokes, but there's a connection there
There is a connection.
between Bram
Uh,
Stoker's Dracula and Heather's.
Heather's. Thank you for that.
Yeah, that connection made her happy, is what she's trying to say.
Yes, that is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm
Maybe-
at a loss for words because I wasn't expecting it, and it just made me very happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then the end of the movie is Mina like looking up pretty much and realizing like they're both at peace and they like live happily ever after at that point.
Is that how that ends?
Yeah,
I thought it just meant that like,
because like the mark on
Dracula's-
her forehead disappears.
well, yeah, she's not a vampire anymore.
So yeah, they're both like now going to go and to an actual afterlife and live in that afterlife together, I assume.
Here's where we start talking about alternate character motivations, because when I left this movie,
What were your immediate thoughts at the end of the movie?
my immediate thoughts were, if this guy gets to go to heaven and Lucy is in hell, this movie can go to hell.
No, she now gets to go to heaven because they cut off her head and like drove the stake through her heart.
I don't think that means she gets to go to heaven.
Then he doesn't go to heaven either.
Okay, good.
If Lucy goes to hell, then so does he. If Lucy goes to heaven, then so does he.
I mean, it
This
doesn't
movie
matter.
isn't like completely clear on like whether
Yeah,
there
it
actually
doesn't-
is a heaven or a
or-
hell. Like this movie isn't clear on like what happens afterward. It's just like, okay, they're not stuck
Okay.
tied to this realm anymore.
Because what's weird about this movie is that like the first 30-40 minutes are like a more of a traditional idea of what you think a Dracula story is, of like gothic horror and you're in a castle, and then like the middle 40 minutes 50 minutes are a romance mixed with like an actual like horror movie where
Yeah.
they're like, there's a weird like romance happening on one end, but with Mina and Dracula, but on the other end, like Lucy is turning into a monster and they're like trying to kill her, and there's like a lot of religious imagery and murder and stuff like that. And then the last like 30 minutes is a 80 Days to Get Around the World, whatever that movie is, where they're like all racing and murder.
Interesting that you say that.
I think it's I think the romance stuff is interesting. I think I just have a problem with it because here's the thing I was thinking.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that essentially this movie is Dracula's going about his business. He sees a woman who looks exactly like his old bride, who may actually be like a reincarnation of her.
Yeah,
But-
I think the movie says so.
The way I left this movie was like she was hypnotized into loving him, and maybe it was easier because she had a previous incarnation, but none of that
Yeah.
was her actual feelings. And I
Okay.
think and so that made a lot of the romance for me weird, because I was just like, but is any of this a conscious choice? And I don't think it is. And
Yeah.
then the thing that really backed it up for me at the end was she like kills him and like stabs him in the heart. And then I think the mark on her head that like shows that she is a vampire because she is burned by a holy instrument goes away.
Mhm.
And then so once she is free from his influence, then she beheads him like harshly.
Okay.
And that made me be like, so you as a character, we maybe only know for 10 minutes before you are like taken under the spell.
Okay. So you have gone with the interpretation that I think the group of guys in this movie go with, like John Harker,
Oh no!
Carrie Elwes, and all of them,
Oh
that
no!
she is not acting of her own volition.
Oh no!
Right? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
Okay. And now we get to my thoughts on vampire literature.
Is it a bad thing that I think this?
It's not a bad thing that you think this. It's just a thing that I heavily disagree with.
Okay. So am I an 1800s sexist? Should I
No,
grow a tiny
I think
mustache?
You're just a 21st century sexist.
Oh no. Damn it. Damn it.
Listen, I don't know that this is like, I'm not an expert in vampire literature. I'm not an expert in like fantasy literature at all.
It's an
but
explicit power of vampires that they hypnotize people.
A lot of what I understand from vampire literature is that vampires, specifically Dracula, and this happens in Bram Stoker's novel, at least from my recollection of reading it in 7th grade, is that like Bram Stoker in the novel, like in writing his novel, is taking the position that you are taking and that the like male characters in his novel take. Okay. That like these women are not acting of their own volition. These people are being hypnotized and put under a spell by Dracula. And I'm saying that he's finding people who are already going to be willing to be susceptible to be put under a spell
because of their
because of whatever
reason, their
societal, I don't know, circumstances that
finally being able to let loose after living their whole lives under restrictions of being a woman in the 1800s.
Yes.
I understand that,
so
but I also
think.
I do understand that.
Oh, well, sorry, let me just finish real quick that.
Oh, yeah.
And then so like once these women are turned into vampires and stuff, only then in the afterlife do they have their own like sexual agency and stuff.
Oh, okay.
That is my reading on the vampire myth as a whole.
Okay.
I might be incredibly wrong on this.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm not going to change my mind.
I'm not even talking about the vampire myth as a whole. I don't care about that. I don't like. I just think that it's not. I'm not talking about it as a whole. I'm talking about in the context of this movie. Okay. I feel like when Mina first meets Dracula, and the one of two moments I like really smiled during this movie was when she first sees Dracula as like young Dracula, and he's like trying to be like, "You're my wife," and she's like, "No, go get a street atlas, find your own way home." And then after that, Dracula like follows her and like lies to her, convinces her that he's like a harmless guy, and then like in the weird like movie shadow puppet
cinematograph
thing, something happens. I don't remember exactly, but he puts her on some crates and is like staring directly in her eyes. And I think that's the moment Mina loses agency as a character because he hypnotizes her.
Yes.
That was my reading of it, is that like from that moment on,
and my reading is that she's not fully being hypnotized. She's like
he's bringing out
like he's bringing something out in her that has been repressed, and now she's finally like, okay, this is who I can be, and she's seeing like the possibility in that. Maybe he is hypnotizing her, and he, like what happens in hypnosis, like when you're actually put under hypnosis in like therapy or something, if you go through like hypnosis therapy, you tend to see like a version of yourself that you're not able to see with all of these constrictions of your real life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. It's like when, just this is going to be a little off the rails, but like just go with me here. It's like I don't really actually
buckle up, kids.
Yeah, like I don't actually believe in astrology, but like I just think that it's fun because it allows you to like be a little more self-aware and see something in yourself that you would never have seen on your own. Like you have to be told by an outside force, like look here and see what you want to see, but like look in this one spot, and you would have never looked there if not for reading your horoscope, reading your birth chart, or like being under Dracula's spell.
And well, here's the thing. To turn it on you a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think these women needed a man to bring them out.
Okay.
They were already, like, Lucy was kind of already living
And that's why
her
she
life.
is
Like,
so willing and the first to be turned. I think in Bram Stoker's novel, the character of Lucy is being condemned by this 19th century guy and saying, like, this is what happens when women are overtly sexual.
yeah.
They become, like, they're cursed with eternal life, right? And
Yeah.
forced to become a monster.
And their souls are
And then, like,
condemned. And
yeah. And I think the movie says kind of the opposite, that she's not being condemned, that, like, oh, here, she's already, like, very sexual and whatever. Here's this path that she can take, and she goes on it. Does that make sense? I
I
know
mean,
I might be wrong here. I'm willing to say that I am.
well, I don't think there's a
I
right or
might be
wrong.
wrong, but this is my interpretation of it.
There's not a right or wrong. We are just discussing our different interpretations and why we went our separate
No, I just don't
ways
want
in
people
this.
to think that, like, I'm apologizing for rape or anything. Like, I just don't think that the women are being raped in this movie.
I'm not saying, because I don't believe that either.
Okay.
Well,
But
I don't
then
know.
if you think that they're being hypnotized by Dracula, then do you think they don't have any agency? There's no way that they can consciously say no
No,
if
you're
they're
right.
being hypnotized.
No, if that's what I'm saying, then that's what I'm saying.
So then, yeah, you're saying that they're raped. And I'm
Hmm.
saying that only in this, Dracula as a man is not giving them agency. Dracula as, like, this
I am
force
not. I am
of,
not saying that Dracula is giving them agency. I'm saying that
oh, I
Dracula
know,
is
I'm saying it.
taking. Oh, okay, cool.
But, like, I'm just making it clear that, like, neither of us are saying that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, Dracula as a man is not giving them agency, but Dracula as a force for, like, spiritual enlightenment or whatever you want to see him as is giving them agency, because they are only given full agency in the afterlife.
I hate that.
I know. I also do.
I hate that they only, because I don't think that when we see Mina and Lucy at the beginning of this movie that they are that they're characters without agency. Like Lucy is has, or even aren't fully in their agency, fully in their decision making. I think that Dracula isn't necessarily bringing stuff out of them that wasn't already there. I think that he is, like, his hypnotism is just redirecting whatever it is that they are doing, like their motions that we see as their characters in the beginning and what
Mm-hmm.
they're doing. He is redirecting it towards what he wants. He, like, takes their initial desires and turns it
Okay.
towards, like, because, like, Lucy doesn't have the same reaction to Dracula that Mina does, where Mina is, like, very, like, in love. At the beginning of the movie, it seems like is genuinely very in love with Jonathan Harker. And then after
Mm-hmm.
that incident where he, like, looks her eye to eye, and after that, the love that she had for Jonathan Harker shifts to Dracula. And I think that's the
Okay.
element of hypnotism. And then when he has his interaction with Lucy, the, like, vivacious, like, flirtiness, that because he doesn't care about Lucy, he just needed something to feed on, essentially.
Uh-huh.
Takes her, like, vivacious, like, flirtiness and, like, all, like, the fun and, like, her, like, loving to say um loving to say things that would be controversial at the time just because she
Mm-hmm.
can, and it's, like, fun, taking all that energy that we see at the characters at the beginning and turning it towards, like, bloodlust and violence.
Yeah.
I don't think that these characters are making, Dracula isn't taking stuff out of them. Like, he didn't turn Mina into, like, a a violent creature,
Yeah.
because that wasn't
Because
already in
she was
her.
never a violent creature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just took the love that was already in her for another person and shifted it towards himself.
That's kind of what I'm saying, though.
Yeah. And I just think that at the end of the movie, once she is out of the influence of Dracula, she realizes what has been done to her and finishes the killing. Because when she beheads him at the end, when she decapitates him at the end, it felt angry to me. Like, it felt like
thought it felt heartbroken.
wow.
Yeah, I thought it was
Is that what do you do when you're heartbroken?
No, I thought it was like, okay, I do see, like, if I finish driving the stake through his heart, I will give him peace. That means, like, this person that I am in love with, like, I love him so much that I am willing to give him the peace that he needs, even if that means that I won't be with him.
And I see that with the stake.
Yeah.
But I thought there was a shift in the acting after the stake where she just seemed angry. Where she seemed like the influence of him had left her. Because what do you think happens after this movie?
I think, like, the curse has been lifted and they're all free.
Well, yes, I think that too. But what do you think happens with Mina and Jonathan Harker after this movie?
I don't know, and I don't care.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like, yeah, I think, like, they all live happily ever after in their own ways. I don't know what that means for them.
You watched this movie and you left being like, everybody has a happy ending?
Yeah.
What? Lucy is dead. Tex is dead.
Well, I mean, like, mainly Mina has a happy ever after.
What? Even in your interpretation of it, she is, like, in love with Dracula and she killed the love of her life so that you think that's a happy ever after?
No anymore. Okay. I thought I was, like, very set on what I thought about this movie, and now I'm just like, I don't know what I like about this movie. I just like it.
Oh, okay. Because I feel like the shift I see in Mina's acting when she decapitates him is because it was added later. Because, well, whenever we watch something or do something, I read the tvtropes.com page of the movie or the show.
I thought you were gonna say, like, the Wikipedia page.
No, I go deeper. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you see all, like, the parts broken down and references to tropes, but then it also has, like, a trivia section, and I read the trivia section.
Yeah.
And the Mina
reshot.
Yeah, because it originally just ended with him with Mina staking Dracula, but Steven Spielberg, or no, was it still wait 1 second. George Lucas, after watching
they're all buds.
George Lucas watched a preview screening and said that Mina should just decapitate Dracula
to complete the curse, the lifting of the curse, to, like, do what Van Helsing was doing before with Lucy.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, but I think that, like, adding that decapitation at the end after, like, the influence of Dracula has, like, visibly been removed from her makes it seem like Mina isn't making this choice as, like, a final thing for the person she loves. It makes it seem like she's been like, what have you done to me? And decapitating the body is basically my reasons for my interpretation.
I see that. I just also see that
we just have different interpretations, and we're not gonna
yeah, like, we're just not gonna agree, but I will just say, as, like, a final thing, before we move on, the last two sentences of the official Wikipedia plot, which, like, yes, don't trust Wikipedia, but also
the official Wikipedia plot.
It says, Mina thrust the knife through his heart as he finally dies, the mark on her forehead disappears as Dracula's curse is lifted. She decapitates him and gazes up at the fresco of Vlad and Elisabetta ascending to heaven together, reunited at long last. Like, she looks up at that, the painting on the ceiling where they're together, and I think that's what happens to them.
I just saw that ending shot as, like, a cool thing.
No, I think it's like,
I just saw it as
Mina was, like, a reincarnation of Elisabetta, and so she like decapitating him and stuff and, like, lifting the curse means that they are officially are reunited in the afterlife.
Mm-hmm. Well, if
They're
you
both
watched
like
this movie and agreed with either of us, let us know. I'd love to hear.
truly, like, again, I will say, I don't think my interpretation of this is like the official interpretation or anything. I just think it's how I chose to interpret it,
Yeah.
and we are just gonna have to agree to
Yeah, I think the
disagree.
problem with this discussion is that we are trying to convince each other and not just
I'm
be like,
not
this is
trying
how
to
I'm.
convince you, though. I'm just trying to like present my argument and
Yeah.
like
And
hope
I
that
think
you
we
see
both
it.
see each other's sides. We're just both like, we saw something and we both had different thoughts. And that's art, honey. This movie is like it's a Coppola film. It is like an art house. There's a lot of room for interpretation. There's a lot of room for like weirdness because they were just making artistic choices. Because
Yeah.
I think, and this is actually kind of a good transition, a large thing about this movie is the visuals.
Yes. So like part of the reason that I love this movie so much is the visuals, that like they do all these crazy practical in-camera effects. So like Coppola wanted this movie, it's set in 1897, and so like Coppola wanted to do all of those effects from that time, and so that's like what the cinematograph represents, like
Yeah.
this turn of the century, new science, whatever. And he's like, okay, well, I want to make the movie how it would have been made in that time, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And so he does like all these cool fancy tricks with like exposing the film multiple times, like the mirror effect with Keanu Reeves shaving is like with using a body double and stuff, and like the mirror's actually a window and all of that, like, and I just think those things are so cool. There's a thing that like I heard,
it is a cool movie to watch.
yeah, so like I heard last year when Little Women came out, Greta Gerwig said like,
Oh my god,
this is just a very small thing, and that it's shut up, like it's gonna be a 2-sentence mention, okay? But like when Little Women came out last year, like Greta Gerwig said that like she was talking to Steven Spielberg in the process of like pre-production and everything, and he was like, this movie is set in the 1860s, you need to shoot on film. They would not have had digital cameras, they had film cameras then.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't do anything special and fancy because like this movie is set in 1860s. This movie needs to be kind of a product of its time.
Yeah.
And so she shot it on film. And I think that's just for like what Coppola's trying to do here too, that like he's trying to like use the like big technological advancements of the time to be like, this is how this story would have been made in this time,
to set it apart from other movies.
yes.
And it does.
Yeah. And also I think like there was this thing, I don't remember who said it, I probably should have tried to find out, but another thing that you're gonna like laugh at, and I'm just gonna be like, this is a 2-second mention, like shut up. Shut up.
Me laughing at you sick. I'm a great friend.
Baby, don't be mean.
You said that like it was a chant. Like you said that like a nursery rhyme. What?
I'm a sick baby, short and stout.
I don't even know what to do with this information.
I don't even remember the rest of that song. So earlier this year when Blank Check was doing their George Miller series, there was this thing that they talked about on the show about how George Miller always uses practical effects. God, okay.
It looks good and it makes it feel real.
Yes, but also there was this thing that they were talking about how like it was such a shame when we got color film, because like people were just starting to learn how to use the medium. And so like having color just took away a lot of those like
Artistic
technological,
choices.
like artistic advancements that could have been made, because they were just like, oh, we have color now, we don't have to do all of these fancy tricks, like with the fire in this movie, like the blue flames and stuff, like that was a thing where they like exposed the film multiple times and stuff, and like all of those things that like were tricks that people were just starting to figure out in like the 1910s and 20s. Then color came along and everybody was like, oh, this is what we're doing now, okay, we can set all those tricks aside, because film as a medium did not start as like an artistic medium. It wasn't like, oh, let's make this thing called movies now, like we're gonna do that. No, like it was a means to an end for magicians and like illusionists and stuff, and that's why like Edison was involved with it, because he was kind of he was interested in the illusionist world.
I didn't know any of
late
this.
Yeah, Edison
That's
made
very cool.
a lot of advances in film because he was like just interested in what it could do, like this literal science aspect of it.
Huh.
And there's this thing in the movie where when they're at the cinematograph, says like, oh, this is such a big advancement in science or something, and Mina's like, oh, you call this science? Marie Curie would be mad at that or whatever. What would she say to that? Which, one, Marie Curie hadn't just made her discoveries yet, and two, I know the film that they're watching is a film by Edison, by Thomas Edison.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and there's like posters in the background that like say Edison's great, I don't know,
what?
Edison's Great Adventure or whatever. Okay. I don't know the name of the film.
The film that Edison made wasn't just, the posters weren't just like propaganda for himself. They weren't like, Edison's really hot. Edison.
No, like Edison possessive.
No. Edison's Great Adventure.
But yeah, like I think the only piece of film, of like moving film that we have of Mark Twain, is this film of him like walking around his house that was shot by Edison, because like they were friends at the time. And so Edison was like, hey Mark, you want to just like let me come over with my camera and you'll do some stuff and like I'll shoot it? And Mark Twain was like, sure, I'm not writing any books at this time, whatever. Like so yeah, like Thomas Edison was a big guy involved in like the actual mechanics of film in early stages of film.
Didn't know that. That's interesting. But you're saying that with this movie, it's kind of going deep into like the visual effects and stuff that would have been discovered if we hadn't been gotten lazy with the invention of color television. Yeah. And
then computers came along and the same thing happened, where people were like, oh, we don't have to do any of these fancy tricks that we were doing anymore. We have computers that like we can do stuff in post now.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole film was shot on sound stages in California. Like everything was done on stage, in camera, everything.
It was all physical effects. There was no camera. There's no, the blue fire that appears isn't computer generated. It's like an effect done to the actual film. Like any effects you see is something that is happening on the set or to the film itself, which is like cool and shows, and I think makes the actual visual effects really hold up.
Yes.
Now, that being said, why was Keanu Reeves, when he was first meeting Dracula, like never like, what is up here?
Because Keanu Reeves wasn't meant for this type of movie.
I know, but even with that, like you are not surprised at all that this metal monster comes to pick you up in a carriage? Because so many of my notes are like, why are you trusting this person?
Yeah, I really think like, it's like after
I did write. One of my notes is I don't trust any count. Dracula, de Lesseps, Chocula. And I just came across it and giggled at myself. that I wrote that like genuinely in the moment.
I love that the first two counts that you could think of
Yeah.
were Dracula, the person we're seeing on screen,
Yep.
and De Lesseps.
De Lesseps from Real
Count
Housewives
de
of New York.
Lesseps. Oh my goodness.
And then the third example was Chocula.
What's Count in Sesame Street? Does he have a name other than Count? Or is he just Count?
I think he's Count.
He's Count.
I don't know if he's Count. I think he's just Count.
Okay.
Because that's his thing. He counts stuff. I think he's just Count. Or though, actually, I bet he does have a full character name.
Sorry.
His name is Count Von Count.
Okay, that's funny. Better than Count.
I like Count.
But do you know how Coppola got this movie? Got a hold of this movie? Yeah, okay. So, wait, can I tell the whole story?
Yeah, you tell it, yeah.
Because I love it a lot. Okay, so like in Godfather Part 3, Sofia Coppola plays like a small role. Sofia Coppola's very much hated because she wasn't an actress and she was in this movie and she doesn't do a good job. That role, Sofia Coppola's role, was originally supposed to be Winona Ryder. She had to like get out of it, scheduling conflicts. She had to get out of Godfather. And so like at the last minute, Coppola put his daughter Sofia in the movie. Winona and Coppola wanted to work together for a while after. Winona read this script from James Hart that it was just like being passed around. Winona Ryder read it and sent it to Coppola and was like, you should make this movie. This is something that we can work on together. And so they made it.
Yeah,
and
Coppola read it and fell in love with it because it's a very strange take on Dracula.
Yeah. And also Coppola, I guess like Coppola loved Dracula, the character growing up. And like when he was 18, he worked at this like summer camp and he was like the theater director at this summer camp. And he was assigned to like be in a bunk with a few boys or whatever. He would read to them the novel Bram Stoker's Dracula every night for them to go to sleep or something.
Mm-hmm.
So he like loved the John Carradine Dracula. He loved Dracula growing up. So then like when Winona Ryder sent him this script, he was like, this is perfect. This will save my production company.
Yeah.
This will save me from going bankrupt completely. Yeah. And he saw this as like this perfect artistic move that also could save him financially.
Mm-hmm.
And he made a great movie out of it.
It worked.
Yeah. What are the other notes that you have?
Oh God, 20 being old, burn me alive.
What, that you're 25?
Yeah, I'm 24.
24. You're 24.
How dare you? The security guards in this insane asylum having cages on their heads. Why do they have cages? Why do they
protect them from the patients?
I know, but I feel like just full like bird cages on their head.
I know.
Their helmets.
It was really funny.
The costuming in this movie is great.
Okay, another thing that Coppola wanted that he like both in an artistic decision and in a way to save money from the studio and everything so that this movie would make a lot of profit, he decided to like film everything on sound stages and he wanted like very minimal sets, and he said like the costumes will be the sets. Like he wanted these very minimal sets and these super elaborate costumes. So that's what you're attracted to. That's what your eye goes to. And it allows for him to do those like in-camera effects on the soundstage because you're not like, your eye doesn't go to the walls that are not really there. Mm-hmm. Your eye goes to, what is this robe that Dracula is wearing? Like, what is this green dress that Winona Ryder has on? Like, these very elaborate, ornate costumes. So
and it shows. It works. I wrote that about 30 minutes in this movie. I wrote, this movie should just be a music video, and then like an hour and a half in, I wrote, this movie should be a concept album. And what I've decided is that what I want to see, Lady Gaga, if you're listening,
oh no,
for your next album, I want you to get Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder, and you be Dracula in this movie, and all of your music videos are like references to the different parts of this movie because there's so many parts. Like I wanna see Lady Gaga dressed as like evil Pope with like a butt hair or whatever that was. I want to see it.
That's very funny, Mark.
I thank you. I want her to do it. I wouldn't it be great? And also like Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder, I think would do it. Maybe?
I think so. They love this movie. They talk about it a lot.
They love this movie. They're still friends. And Lady Gaga's cool.
I know Winona at least specifically loves this movie.
Yeah. So, and it would give Keanu Reeves a second chance. Should I try absinthe?
Sure.
Have you had absinthe? I've never had absinthe.
No.
Valentina, when
Doesn't it taste like disgusting?
I've heard it's disgusting, but I also heard it's like crazy. Valentina, when we're finally able to see each other again, let's
in like 5 years.
In like 5 years. So we'll be 30 and 29. Let's get absinthe and watch Mamma Mia 2. Here we go again.
Okay, I would love to do the latter part of that. I don't know about the former so much.
I think I should try absinthe just once.
Okay,
just to
absinthe.
When they got it in the movie, and it was just in one scene, I realized I really never had it. And I also have never. Who are you if you go to a bar and you're like, hey, do you have any absinthe?
I think you're a person who also does cocaine in the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Like, that's just, I've never seen a person drink absinthe in real life. The only time I've ever seen absinthe is like in movies and TV.
Yeah.
And the same type of people who drink absinthe are the type of people who like do cocaine in the bathroom of the club.
I just really have no in-person interactions with absinthe, and I just want to try it once. Also, something I think about this movie is I did enjoy it. I think it's a cool movie. It's like beautiful and like all the stuff we talked about. And it's interesting. We've clearly had like a long discussion about like our different viewpoint. I have a viewpoint on this movie, which is not true of like a lot of things I've seen. And I just think this movie was too long.
It's a long movie.
It's a long.
A lot of the parts, like there's a lot of very slow parts in it.
Yeah, and so much like it's a long movie and so much happened. I think they should have cut out. I didn't need Renfield's character, and I think if they had cut it out, it would have made the movie much tighter, and I would have enjoyed it more. Even though Renfield did a very good job as an actor, I just don't think it.
AKA Tom Waits.
Sure.
You mean Tom Waits, the singer?
Who is
Tom Waits?
Who does
Tom Waits?
You're not explaining who Tom Waits is.
He's a very famous like folk singer with a signaturely deep voice.
Wait, that guy's not an actor?
I mean, he acts sometimes, but he's primarily a singer.
Oh, he did a great job. I just think he should have been cut out. I've never heard of you or your music.
I love Tom Waits.
Sorry. Cut him out. I don't care.
He has a very like, this is my voice. I don't know, like a very deep, gravelly old man voice. And he's had that voice for like ever. All right, let's talk about Sadie Frost.
Okay. What do you think?
I love her.
Me too.
She's fantastic in this movie. Oh my God. She is a star. Like, she's still working, but not nearly as much. She was modeled like in the 90s and stuff, and now like she's great. I love every second of her.
She perfectly captures like this like fun young woman, rich young woman living her life and sowing her oats and doing everything she wants. And then like she really gets the like, I'm dying, but I want to die so that I can become this vampire. She captures that and its intensity. And it's like the sexuality of it. And then also Sadie Frost as the vampire was like more terrifying than Dracula was at any point in this movie.
Yes.
To me. Like when she comes down into the crypt, when she comes down into the crypt and she's in like the terrifying wedding dress with the white face holding a child, it's like visceral. And the way she moves, and it's like still sweet talking, but violent. She
just is like truly the physical embodiment of this character. Sadie Frost was married to Jude Law.
What a
And
beautiful couple.
they had 3 kids, or 2 kids, 3 kids. And the Jude Law son that's acting now
He's
is
one
her
of them?
kid.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I didn't know that.
Who was dating Rita Ora, right? Is that a thing?
Yes, I think you're correct.
Yeah.
From maybe the Oliver movie.
Yeah. The Oliver Twist movie.
What a connections. Because Rita
The
Ora.
Oliver Twist movie that I will be comparing to the Disney animated Oliver exclamation point movie. Just saying.
Okay.
Starring Billy Joel.
But yeah, Sadie Frost, she should have gotten nominations for this.
Yeah, she is definitely one of the standouts of this movie. Like
Yeah.
her, Gary Oldman, Winona Ryder, I would say.
Also,
Anthony Hopkins.
yeah.
Anthony Hopkins, yes, but also he's doing stuff in this movie that he also does in other movies.
That's true.
Like I saw a lot of parallels between like this and his Hannibal Lecter, which like Silence of the Lambs came out the previous year.
Oh, okay.
He did bring a lot to his performance. Like he's an excellent actor.
He does a great job, but it's not as specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would have loved like for them to make this movie was made in an effort to revive the Universal monsters again for like a new generation, kind of like the Dark Universe that is now defunct. Yeah. And so they made this movie and like a Wolfman movie starring, I think, Robert De Niro.
Oh, no, thank you.
No, I can't remember exactly who it was now, but it was some weird random actor.
I'm biting here.
Dustin Hoffman.
It all comes. I'll figure something out one day.
It's I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. Oh, it's Jack Nicholson, not Robert De Niro. So
wait,
they tried.
I'm Walking Here is Jack Nicholson?
No, Wolf is Jack Nicholson. I'm Walking Here is Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, damn it.
I'm Walking Here is Midnight Cowboy. It's Dustin Hoffman.
Cool. I'm thinking a Taxi Driver. Taxi
Driver is Robert De Niro, but that's not I'm Walking Here.
Oh, is that when he's in the mirror?
I'm Walking Here is Dustin Hoffman. Like,
no, but I'm
walking here.
I got that. But is it in Taxi Driver? Isn't there a scene?
Taxi Driver.
Okay, well, isn't there like a famous line where he's like talking to himself in the mirror? He's like, he doesn't say I'm walking here. He says like, it's quoted a lot, and it's like.
Here, let's see. Taxi Driver. Going to the quotes page.
You talking to me?
Oh, yeah.
That's him?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of when I tried to make that joke. You biting to me?
Wait, no, hold on.
Is this also wrong?
Travis is trying his guns on the mirror. Huh? Draws. Faster than you, fucking son of a... Saw you coming, you fucking shitheel. Reholsters. I'm standing here. You make the move. It's your move. Draws. Don't try it, you fuck. Reholsters. You talking to me? You talking to me? Then who the hell else are you talking? You talking to me? Well, I'm the only one here. Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? God. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Whoa.
Draws.
Wow. Okay, Juilliard, if you're listening.
That is my dramatic reinterpretation of the famous "You Talking to Me" scene in Taxi Driver.
Which I tried to use as a joke and failed.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
What was I saying? How did I get onto that?
Wolfman movie revival of
right.
Hollywood monsters.
Yes, this movie was made in like an attempt to revive those original Hollywood Universal monsters and stuff. Like there was also Wolf starring Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer. And then I would have loved if in that they made a Van Helsing movie with Anthony Hopkins as Van Helsing again.
Yeah.
And done like the Van Helsing stories that are not Dracula.
And he would have been able to have like levels and stuff in that.
Yeah.
That he wasn't
like
able to have.
That would have been really cool.
I agree.
because like Van Helsing has a lot of story, like
And I think
adventures and stuff.
if this movie happened today, they would, because sequels, all that stuff.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Okay. Well, before we start wrapping things up, I think we should talk about our Grin Media Reses.
Yeah. Wait, is that it? Grin Media Reses? Plural? Is that the pluralized version?
Yeah, I think. Our Grin Media Res.
Grin Media Res.
Our individual Grin Media Res moments.
There you go.
Then let's talk about it. The moments in this film that made us involuntarily smile. Well, so Valentina, you've seen this movie multiple times. What during your watch of this movie made you smile?
During this watch, and you might hate me for this, it's when we first see Winona Ryder at the typewriter, I'm immediately thinking, this was her audition for Little Women 1994. I love Winona Ryder so much. I grew up with that version of Little Women. It's like her.
She's your heart actress.
Yes, definitely. She is. Yeah.
I just said that like it was a term. I
don't know if it is a term, but I would like to make it a term.
Yeah, she's your heart actress.
I would like to make it a term. She is my heart actress.
Okay.
That's it. What is your Grin Media Res moment?
Well, okay. I kind of have two.
Okay, that's fine.
I would like to say this movie didn't make me smile that much. I spent a lot of it confused. It's a good movie, but I spent a lot of this movie being like, Valentina, why did you do this to me?
I get it.
The first moment that I'm kind of counting as a Grin Media Res moment, I'm saying kind of count it because it has almost nothing to do with the movie.
Okay.
When the movie first started, and they first show like year 1463 or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought he said, "Yep, 1464." And I, having no interaction with this movie, started immediately smiling and being like, oh, what is this gonna be?
No.
What is this? Is this gonna be like a comedy? Like, what am I? Yep, 1640, the Crusades. What are you gonna do about it? It is not that movie at all.
No.
But
so funny.
I thought it said, yep, 1487, and I immediately was like, ah, what is this gonna be? It was not what I wanted it to be.
Oh my god.
Yeah. If you had asked me after hearing that first line if I thought there would have been a blood orgy 30 minutes in, I would have said, no way.
Yep.
No way. But my actual Grin Media Res moment from this movie is also Winona Ryder typing on a typewriter.
Really?
Yes. Something about it made me happy. I don't know. I think it was just
just seeing her at a typewriter makes me so happy.
Well,
and it is because of Little Women, but
I haven't even seen the Little Women movies or
I know,
read the book.
You will in a few months.
Threat. So I don't know. I think something about it kind of reminded me of like Something's Gotta Give, where I just love typewriting acting. Or like typing acting.
I love typewriters.
Where you're just, I don't even care about typewriters actually. I'm just typing acting. Where it's like, okay, you're typing nonsense and just show us the emotion that you're trying to convey. And something
like Meg
about
Ryan and Tom Hanks and You've Got Mail.
Yeah. Where it's just like, where they're just clacking away doing nonsense with their hands. And then just smiling. And I laughed because she was just like smiling and moving her head, but I just know that she's doing nothing.
As she's like typing in her diary.
Yeah, she's typing like jabba-dabba-doo, like just random letters, just smiling back and forth. Made me giggle and smile. And that was also my Grin Media Res moment for a very different reason.
That's so funny that we have the same moment.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That I really do. I just love Winona Ryder.
Yeah, she's to use this term I invented, I guess. She's your heart actress.
Yeah.
Something about her gets at your soul.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mark, what are your final thoughts on this movie? Would you recommend this movie?
I think, yes. It's a very interesting movie. I've said it multiple times. It is stunning. It is visually gorgeous. Not even just like the effects, Like the sets are gorgeous, the outfits, the actors, and I don't care about this movie. I don't care about it. It's not for me.
You don't
The
have
only
to recommend it.
well, here's the thing. I do recommend it because I think it is an interesting movie to watch.
Okay.
I just think I would maybe want to. I would want to watch it as part of like a Halloween marathon.
Okay.
Where like maybe I'd watch like this movie and then watch like Hocus Pocus or something, just to like see like an interesting movie like how that fits into like the themes of the season.
Yeah.
And like see it and experience it and be like, wow, that's cool, and then watch something I actually love to like pick me up. So
Yeah.
I recommend it, but I don't care about it. It's essentially my.
And I completely understand. And I honestly didn't think you really would. I was like, I would be very surprised if Mark likes this movie.
And I didn't. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say watch this movie if you just want to watch like a true feast for the eyes of gothic romance for 2.5 hours, 2 hours.
Yep.
If you don't want that, then don't watch it.
Yeah.
It's a very specific movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
I think that's it.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We gotta figure out how to actually sign off on these episodes. Or actually,
Yeah.
I think just me. I think I need to actually figure out how to sign off on these episodes.
I don't think I've done a good. I don't remember any sign off I've done. Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, we'll have another episode out in 2 weeks, hopefully. And it won't be
Yeah.
Halloween themed this time. So
I think it's the next episode after this is Company.
okay, well, in 2 weeks we're gonna be watching my pick, which is Company. It's a musical. I am very interested for Valentina to see it because I don't know how much she'll like it either. So on that note,
Is that like payback for this?
yes, yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So thank you for listening.
Please like this. Please like this. Please like this.